This was like a man bites dog headline, and you predicted that it was going to happen. Interim head coach Jeff Saturday and the Colts winners against the Raiders on Sunday, and you said it was going to happen. It helped that Jonathan Taylor got back into the action. He ripped off a 66-yard touchdown. He had 22 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown. Like we told you here on the show, Colts are going to get back to running the football, and that's exactly what they did in Jeff Saturday's debut as the interim.
Man, Mark, you and I, we talked about it. I know people had a lot of pushback on Jeff Saturday. Moving up the coaching chain or just sliding in without having the experience. But it wasn't Jeff Saturday's fault. He didn't hire himself. Israel liked what he saw. He was real comfortable with Jeff Saturday. I'm sure they had plenty of conversations in the offseason or during the season. Hey, Jeff, if you was in this position, what would you do? And you know what? He said, you know what? You're not going to be the head coach right now for a full season. You're going to be the interim head coach. Hey, Jeff, I need you. And what you want Jeff Saturday to say? No, I'm not going to come? Hell yeah. I mean, why? But yeah, I'm coming. Okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do. So as a offensive lineman, and I've been saying this, defensive line coaches and offensive line coaches, they can tell you everything what a offense or a defense is about to do because everything starts in the trenches. And what I mean in the trenches, everything starts with fronts. Whether it's a 4-man front, whether it's a 3-man front, whether it's 3 linebackers, whether it's 4 linebackers, it starts right there. So for Jeff Saturday, and he said it best in this interview, Jeff was like, man, I didn't play ball for 13, 14 years. I've been to the Pro Bowl at least 9. I've been All-Pro about 3 or 4 times. I didn't watch the Peyton Manning. I didn't watch the Edgerrin James. I didn't watch the Marvin Harrison. So you going to tell me I just don't – I've been around greatness all my life. I didn't have a Tony Dungy. So I've been around. You know what? I got something for y'all. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do good. If I do good, I'm cool with that. If I do bad, at least I had this experience. But I got something for y'all, though. I'm putting Matt Ryan back at the helm. I'm going to have Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to get my offensive line. I'm going to check the Raiders front and see exactly what they like to do. We're going to pound them. That's exactly what we're going to do. And what Jonathan Taylor did. 22 for a buck and some change. Let's control the clock. Let's not put Matt Ryan in bad situations and have him throwing the ball all day 30 or 40 times. Let's keep the defense off the field. And when it's time for the defense to get back on the field, make sure y'all make y'all plays. So, yes, I said this. We said this as a podcast, Mark. Jeff Saturday will have them boys running and controlling the clock. The defense will be playing good football. That's exactly what they did against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, Colts' upcoming schedule, they've got the Eagles next Sunday, and then our Steelers are going to play them on Monday Night Football the following week. So we'll see how the Colts continue to play. But we tried to tell you, everyone's acting like Saturday's not – he played with Peyton Manning for more than a decade, one of the greatest offensive minds. I know that he doesn't have the coaching experience collegiately or the NFL. I know and I understand that. But to act like he's going to be totally inept, I think is just ridiculous, Ike. It's like when you spend time with one of the greatest offensive minds and then, at the end of your career, you also play with Aaron Rodgers. It's like, again, I said this a week ago. It's like, am I missing something? And I'm not talking about the other assistants who have been there since day one in training camp and who've grinded out year after year after year after year. I'm talking about Jeff Saturday individually. To act like he just wasn't capable of doing this is ridiculous. And I know the Raiders aren't very good, Ike. So I'm curious to see how the Colts play the rest of the season. Go ahead, hop in.
But Mark, you know what I'm saying? He didn't hire himself. Like this for Jim to hire Jeff Saturday as an interim head coach, they had countless hours on talking football. He felt very comfortable with hiring this guy. Jeff didn't even know he was getting hired. So Jim already had in his head, whenever I make this decision, Jeff will be the first person I call. Why? Because of his football IQ, because of the people he's been around, because of countless hours and conversations we have had over football. That's the reason why. And just because you've been coaching for a while, don't mean it's not guaranteed is what I want to say. I didn't see plenty so-called qualified coaches. They wind up getting a head coaching job and they suck. So, yeah, Mr. Jim just wanted to go off script. Let me get a guy that I'm comfortable with. Y'all say he don't have any coaching experience. I done drafted too many guys who had coaching experience, and the only one that got me and got us to the Super Bowl was Coach Tony Dungy. Other than that, let me get off script. Let me find a guy who I'm comfortable with, who I know is very smart, and who's a alpha. And that's what you got to be. When you look at these Detroit Lions, their coaches are alpha. When you look at the Tennessee Titans, their coaches are alpha. Meaning when I step in the room, they have a presence. Sit down, pay attention. This is what we doing. Ain't going to be no pushback. Because if it's a pushback, you know, we can go outside, we can knuckle up. That's exactly what we can do. So when you have guys like that, when you have a leader of men, and that's exactly what Jeff Saturday said, I'm a leader of men. Everybody can't be a Tony Dungy, and he's grandpa, and he knows how to talk to you. He can be smooth in his line. Sometimes you got to have that drill sergeant who's going to tell you, bro, stop making excuses. You wrong. If you keep making excuses, I got to put so-and-so behind you. I mean, you know that. You grown. You've been here before. Like, that's what Jeff Saturday is doing. That's what Rabel is doing. That's what the coach from what's the coach from Detroit Lions?
Dan Campbell.
Dave Campbell. They have that presence. There are guys in big stature, and they know what they're talking about. So no, sometimes you don't need the experience. Sometimes experience means nothing. It's not guaranteed. It's been too much of that. It's been too much. Or he's been sitting in the ranks. They wind up getting the team. Their team probably got worse, better.
And having said all of this too, this comes with what we both said a week ago. He's probably interim. This isn't going to last beyond this season unless he runs the table, which the odds of doing that in the NFL are slim to none. Even if you have the most talented team.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because, man, offensive defensive line coaches, they're not the sexiest. They're really not the face of the franchise kind of guys, but they're the smartest. And if you look at the assistant head coaches, and I was trying to say this last week, usually the assistant head coaches of football teams are either offensive or defensive line coach. You gotta have them around because they just know too much football. So, and everything starts in the front. You know, we talked about building a house from the ground up. You know, if you want to win Super Bowls, whether it's offensive or defensive line, you got to have something. Just look at San Fran. San Fran defensive line, they don't need the blitz because they got a front four. You know, if you watch Sunday Night Football, that's just what it is. You know, so that's how it's not a Texas pick. They can be mad all they want to. Jeff Saturday didn't hire Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, and we'll see what he does with this opportunity because that's ultimately what it's about. And it goes back to the equality of opportunity, what he does with this opportunity now as the interim. We'll see what the Colts do next week against the Eagles. I'm telling you this right now. This is going to turn itself on its face. If the Colts upset the Eagles, I don't expect that to happen. But if it does, how quickly this conversation is going to change, Ike. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Let's go to go ahead, Ike.
Open a lot of new opportunities, man. That's just, I mean, if you think about it, man, you got 32 teams, only 10 teams really been consistent. You know what I'm saying? On making the playoffs and rotating Lombardies when it comes down to hoisting them. And there's been a lot of coaches who have a lot of opportunities, who had a lot of, coaching experience. Maybe this might turn the corner on, getting former players, who don't have the coaching experience and just see how it go. I mean, if you think about it, man, this is what we do, Mark. So as a player, we know if it was a good draft pick. Now, maybe as a GM, you might not want to suck it up and be like, man, I messed up on this one. But as players, we know how the chemistry can be. We know what it takes to police a locker room. We know how coaches think. When you've been around a game that long, so Jeff played for that long, and we're just talking about at the NFL level. So then you got to go high school. then you got to go college. He's been around football for at least 25, 30 years. So now he's been on TV for a minute. So now, and y'all got him breaking down X's and O's on TV. So really, he's never been out football. And for Jim, Jeff has been his go-to. Like, Jeff, this is a different situation. So, and I'm just looking at it. They've been homeboys for a long time. And Mr. Jim was just like, I'm just about to give my homeboy a shot as an interim head coach. Why not? I'm in a position right now where we ain't looking good anyway. So here we go. But you saw Matt Ryan run for the longest rush of his career damn near. You saw Matt Ryan not make mistakes and not have turnovers. Mm-hmm. You saw Jonathan Taylor look like the old Jonathan Taylor. You saw the Colts defense create turnovers, have fun, and play stout. You did see that. And why? Because of Jeff Saturday. When the man said he was a leader of men, he's a leader of men, because that's all you've been around alphas all your life. When you get into that locker room, you're on your own. You're in the jungle. Mama can't help you. Daddy can't help you. Grandma can't help you. Grandpa can't nobody help you. You're on your own. You're around men. And I saw what they meant as a rookie when they say, man, I got to feed my family. So the mentality already is different, where I got to run into a grown man as hard as I can because I just had a baby. It's a little bit different when you want to buy your mama a $500,000 house, so you got to run into this dude. Your mindset is different. So now you're able to sit back and be like, okay, let me learn these X's and O's. And let me teach. Your personality becomes different. So I can only imagine, the guys who was getting away, who was slacking, who was chilling, who was just cruising through practice, won't tripping on making mistakes. As soon as Jeff came in, now you got called out. Because that's when you win Super Bowls, that's all you know. My homeboys, my teammates called me out. Hey, bro, you tripping. I'm tripping. Yeah, you can't let this happen. But nowadays it's too many buts. But so-and-so, but nah, own up to it. And the moment you own up to it, the faster you own up to it, the better you become. That's what these young men don't understand. When you own up to it ASAP, you get over it, you acknowledge it, you execute it, you let it go, you move on from it, you get better from it. But all this but or so-and-so fault or why he ain't run a route, hit me with my bad. My bad, that was my fault. Okay, it was. Shake it off. Come on, we need you for the next play. And that's all Jeff Saturday is bringing. I guarantee you, that's all he bringing to that locker room: accountability. Hold yourself accountable. Because by the end of the day, whenever you do have a kid, how do you want to raise your kid? You want to raise your kid to be accountable, not to blame nobody else. Because the world don't care nothing about you. Coach T said best, people don't care about your problems. They're glad you got them. Because after that, it becomes better him than me. So when you hold yourself accountable, you're able to move on and to learn from it easy. And my personal opinion, that's what I think. As soon as he walked into the building, Jeff Saturday is doing accountability.
12 years of experience right there. The hair is standing up on my arm right now, just listening to you.
My bad, bro.
No, in all honesty, I worked out this morning and it's like I'm ready to go again after just listening to that, Ike.
Yeah, but that's just what he's been on success. His whole career, he's just been around success, Mark. So when guys like this, how we talk, guys who have been very successful, we know what it is. Like, it's the accountability part. It's not letting your brother down part. It's a we thing. What we doing. So when I always talk about we, like us, family, like teams who win Super Bowls is we, us, family. You can just see it off the sideline. Like when a young guy comes in and us as media guys, we talk about, they got a young corner or they got a young offensive lineman. We'll see what they can do. He doesn't have the game experience. But the guys on his team, like, I'm telling, if we would have asked some of the guys after the game is over in a corner or offensive line or a defensive line or a rookie quarterback had a good game, and it was like, as a rookie, you played a good game. I bet you if you would have asked his teammates 3 weeks earlier, They've been knowing this. We just don't know any better. But as a veteran team who wins all the time, I couldn't wait till Will Gay balled out. I couldn't wait till a Santonio Holmes balled out. I couldn't wait till a Le'Veon Bell balled out because you helping us win. It's we. It's us. So when you understand that when you win, it's not about you. It's about us. Now, how can you contribute? The losing teams, it's about me. Every losing team, I guarantee they got about 4 or 5 me guys. Somebody power. And that's bad energy. It's bad chemistry in that locker room. Because now it's a domino effect. And that's what these guys got to understand. When you win, everybody want to be a part of. How the hell y'all won? What was y'all mentality? What did y'all do? What was y'all thinking? How did y'all become we? Accountability and us. Family. When you have those three, it's a recipe for success, bro. And that's anything in life. You can do a lot. Me and you, I can have a podcast, but our podcast ain't gonna be good without Mark. It's we. That's what I'm doing. With the Bet Online, with the Brinks TV, everybody working behind the scenes, like it's we, it's us. And I've always been like that because that's how Pittsburgh raised me. And so as soon as I landed into Pittsburgh, the Shea Towers that gave me the keys to his expedition and told me, get lost. He ain't even know me. He was like, bro, I'm about to give you the keys so you can just scan the city, get lost, give me the keys back. Whenever I had the man expedition for a whole year. The Shea ain't even know me. He was like, I just got to take care of my young. He said, now, when we draft younger guys, I need you to do the same thing, Ike. And I was like, yes, sir. But come on, man. Come on, man. That we is strong. Mark, that we is strong, bro. That we is strong, bro. People just want to be a part of successful people. But for me, I was so blessed on going to the Pittsburgh Steelers and seeing what we really meant and seeing what family really meant.
Like, that was just terrific. And I didn't want to interrupt you either because it's just like I'm just soaking it all in. And a lot of these stories, we've told on the show before, but the family and what you can do collectively versus individually, it's immense.